Want to know my opinion on this guy that's joined us? GOAT. Already. It's going to happen. It's only his second year in the majors, but he's already on the cover of The Show, one of the greatest video games in the history of video games. Yesterday, he struck out 7. Obviously had a no decision against the Miami Marlins on opening day, but he was the opening day ace for the Pittsburgh Pirates, former national champion with LSU. Ladies and gentlemen, Stallion, Paul Skenes.
Yeah, Paul.
How you doing, man?
Doing well. What's up, guys?
Hey, sorry about the loss, the no decision. Legitimately, I know there's a lot of games left, so you can't get caught up on one particular game, but opening day is a big deal, especially for you. Sorry the game ended that way, but how did you feel? And is there a different feeling now as an opening day starter as opposed to coming out of college, doing AAA, then getting called up middle of season? How does the body feel? How's the arm feel? And where are we at as this season starts, brother?
Yeah, I mean, body feels good. Definitely good to get back out there, get in front of, a full stadium again. At the end of the day, it's just baseball. So, AAA, college, the big leagues, like it's kind of all the same. Hitters change a little bit, but execute your pitches and they're out. So, it's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Okay, let's talk about your pitches. You added some pitches this offseason. It was a big topic of conversation. Paul Skenes got better this offseason.
Oh, yeah.
Look at, the big throw the ball hard guy has added some more shit to his arsenal. How much of that did you get to use yesterday? And how confident are we with every single pitch? And will we add pitches during the season?
Yeah, I mean, confident with everything. We didn't really use any of the new stuff yesterday. But yeah, feeling good with everything. Maybe we'll add some stuff. Maybe we'll take some stuff away during the season. We'll see. It's kind of just the game will tell us.
Yesterday, when you're down in Miami and you said full stadium and it's just baseball, it's just in there. That game ends. Are you thinking about that game at all? Do you watch film of that game? What is the process whenever there's 162 of these things and you literally just wrap up number 1 of the season?
Yeah, really got to figure out something that works over the full 162, not just when it's going good or bad. I haven't watched film yet. I'll do that today. But I got basically a day to think about, the game yesterday, and then the next few days I'm going to prepare for my next outing, basically.
Go ahead, AJ.
Do you have when it comes to scouting your future opponents, do you have a book of all the hitters that you may be facing? How do you consume all this information? I would assume the coaches are giving you about each individual batter you'll be facing.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's kind of cool because I've faced a fair number of the guys that I'm going to face before. So there is a little bit of a book on what I've done in the past, but also, like I said, there's a few day process to prepare for the next game, and kind of take it slow, do chunks, each day, look over the hitters, all that, and then go out there and pitch my game, basically.
Okay, so quarterbacks recall blitz packages or disguises from earlier in their career. Obviously, you're very early in your career right now. But as a hitter's coming up or in the middle of an at-bat, are you thinking about a previous time that you faced this guy, or is that all pre-pitch with that guy? Is there anything happening in the middle of a at-bat where you're audibling or changing or seeing something? Is that something that takes place in pitching? This is literally coming from somebody that has no idea about baseball.
Yeah, I mean, all the time. Because you can look at getting guys out, or I look at getting guys out, the first time through, and trying to save pitches for the second and third time through a little bit. It doesn't always work out that way. So you don't want to show them all your stuff all the time, but you're going. I faced the Cubs 4 times last year. I'm going to have to figure out how to get those guys out, 3 to 4 times a game, all 4 times I pitch against them. So there's definitely going to be some overlap there. Okay, so let's talk about a thing that happened yesterday. I think there was somebody on first and third, 1 out, I believe. It was 0-0. The one score ended up happening on this at bat, I think.
You were throwing, because Ty's sitting right next to me. Ty loves baseball. We're watching it. And Ty thinks you're going high heat just to blow it right by the guy. Like, he's going to go high. Instead, you were throwing some breaking shit, I think, to try to pull a double play there. After he fouls off like 4 or 5 of them, is there a thought like, okay, now we bring that, like, are you playing that with the catcher in the middle of that, like, to keep him guessing? How are those decisions made? Is it you signaling to him signaling to you? What is the kind of breakdown? Because that at-bat was fascinating. It was like it was a good joust, it felt like, between you, the catcher, and the batter at the time.
Yeah, I mean, the catcher has a pitch comm and I have a pitch comm, so I can basically tell him what I want. And he, tells me what he wants. And then we have a lot of conversations before the game. Joe's catching me yesterday. He knows me really well. I know how he thinks. And so we can kind of, skip some of the like intermediary steps of like, okay, this is, what we're thinking. And we kind of just know what each other's thinking a little bit more than, probably you guys watching at home, basically.
Yeah, I'd hope so. That's good chemistry, I assume. That's good chemistry because you're playing like poker. Yeah. You're playing poker with that batter, right? The batter's trying to guess what's coming. That is what's happening in there. As I'm trying to learn about baseball, I'm trying to figure out, like, the batter's trying to figure out what pitch you're throwing, right? That is kind of the reason why tell is such a big deal, and the garbage cans are such a big deal. That's kind of the game, you not giving it away and them trying to figure it the fuck out?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good way of putting it.
I'm going to get a read on you by the end of this. I'm going to try my best. Ty has a question for you, Paul.
Paul, going into the season, a lot of analysts are picking you to, win the Cy Young and bringing up the question of, hey, could this guy set the single-season strikeout record? Obviously, last year you had 170. 383 is a lot, and you were, dealing with limited pitch counts in certain games last year. Is that something this year? I'm not saying you go into the year thinking like, hey, I'm going to set the single-season strikeout record, but as you kind of get into things more, are you still hunting strikeouts, or are you trying, like in that situation Pat's talking about right there, like, are you trying to maybe think about like limiting your pitch count more and like inducing more ground balls and stuff like that, as opposed to in years past where it might just be like, hey, I'm going to try to set this guy down so that you can go deeper into games?
Yeah, I mean, the strikeouts will come. I think because you look at my game yesterday, I think I was in 2-strike counts like 14 or 15 times, maybe 13, and I had 7 strikeouts. So you get into 2-strike counts, you're going to get strikeouts. Those will come. We were, that first and third situation with 1 out. A strikeout's great. A double play is even better because it saves you pitches. I think that's all, the art of pitching. So the single season strikeout record's great. Making the playoffs and winning a World Series is even better, and that happens, from throwing more pitches and being on the mound for a longer period of time.
Okay, so let's talk about that, what you just said there, because winning a World Series as a Pittsburgh Pirate is a hilarious thing to hear if you're from Pittsburgh, but your entire preseason messaging here has been the complete opposite of that. AP Tone, Yinzer Legend, has a question for you.
Yeah, Paul, I appreciate you kind of had some comments about the 2013 wild card game against Cincinnati. PNC only holds 40,000 people, but I think 500,000 people were there that night, according to stories that everyone says it. And you gave respect to the guys that were on that team. And Kutch is obviously still one of your teammates, was probably the only one still left on that team. But you said, like, that should not be the bar or the standard for this city. The standard should be World Series. Is that the messaging kind of going into the season, or what is the message in the locker room to start the year?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously something we look at because that's, what I meant when I said that was, if this is what they're going to show up for a wild card game, like imagine how they'll show up for a World Series game in Pittsburgh. So that's kind of the mindset behind that. And, it's to win the division. That's been the messaging all spring, and that's the messaging now. And, we have the opportunity to do that. Got to win today, got to win tomorrow, and win each day after that. But
Yeah,
it's a cool opportunity.
You guys are gonna be 161-1. We get it. Yeah. I understand. Opening Miami, got to take an L there. I guess let's win 161 straight as we head into the playoffs as the number one seed, and I'm sure that matters in baseball. I would assume that.
Yeah, home field advantage.
Home field advantage. Okay, good. Yeah, it does matter. I know a lot about baseball. I get it. I understand the ins and outs of it day to day. But what you just said there about the World Series, imagine the boats. Behind PNC Park there in that river, just bopping over dead bodies to get back there. I mean, that thing, you wouldn't even, it would be packed up. People on the bridge. I mean, the city would be upside down. And I think the city just appreciates the fact that you're like, hey, this city like deserves it. Like no Pirates say that, you know? Going into the year, the conversation around the Pittsburgh Pirates is always like, another year, ownership's just going to try to make money and our best players get traded away. You're the first person, and you are the first person who's been there who's a guy. And I know you don't like to hear that and all that, but you are the guy. And for you to say, like, let's go win this thing, that's a rally cry, brother. You should be, Pittsburgh loves you, and for good reason. Bruce has a question for you.
Yeah, Paul, I know there was a lot of offseason talk about the addition of the Mariano Rivera cutter, and we didn't really see a ton of that on opening day, but the two-seam, 98, 17 inches of horizontal break, absolutely spicy. Have you made a conscious effort to focus on adding movement with the velocity instead of just, cranking that four-seam up as fast as you can? And, what is going through your head while you're painting that thing fucking high outside corner like that? It's got to be the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. My four-seam naturally runs, so some of the pitches you guys saw might have been four-seams that got tagged as cutters, so... sorry to rain on the parade there.
Wow,
but,
what a
did throw a couple.
Hey, it was a good question, though. It was good research.
Good question. Did throw a couple two seams, and it has. I mean, it's been good. Splinker was really good yesterday, so I didn't have to throw a ton of two seams. But yeah, I mean, it's constantly just playing around with everything, and when it goes right, it definitely feels good.
So when you're in warm-ups and you're doing that thing with the fucking the thing. And then you're doing the things with the
Hucking footballs.
Yeah, and then you're throwing footballs, quarter mile, all that. And then you finally cue Country Roads still? Are we still cueing Country Roads?
Yep, always.
Hell yeah. Banger. When you're going out there and you're starting your first pitches, I assume you know what's good that day? Like, is there a reason? Like, if there's more humidity in the air, like you might go to another pitch. Like, when do you find out what is your shit? Like you said, the Splinker was working pretty good right there, so we didn't need a lot of twos. When do you find that out? In mid-game, or is it like warm-ups? You kind of know what it's going to be and who's going to show up in your pitch count.
Yeah, a little bit of both. But funny thing about warm-up, sometimes you got to just get the bad ones out of the way early, and then it ends up being really good. So can't put too much stock in warm-up throws. But really, the first inning of the game, and the hitters will tell you what's working or not. When you hit that little, because you're super humble. But you do have a little sauce whenever that thing hits the mitt, and you're fun to watch, brother. You're donating $100 for every strikeout yet again to the Gary Sinise Foundation, like you did last year. Last year you had 170 strikeouts. It ended up being $17,000 from you. Others joined along, myself included. Raised over $100,000, I do believe. Doing it again this year, $100 per strikeout. You can match Paul Skenes, like we will be doing yet again. Why the Gary Sinise Foundation, and why are you choosing to do this again, brother? Yeah, I mean, for one, it's a veteran and first responder, charity, a charity that helps veterans and first responders, which is, basically being an Air Force guy and seeing the impact that it's had on my life and my family's life. It's something that I feel I have to do. So that, and it's a good foundation where the money that you donate to the group is going to go toward helping people. So
holy shit,
there's not a ton of fluff. Yeah, that's a big smile there, huh?
Yeah, but that firefighter stash. Oh my God, you look right at him.
Yeah.
A little taller than I think most, because that's why your head's up there at the roof. But boy, you look right at home there in South Baldwin.
Yeah, South Baldwin. Took a visit over there. and got to toot the horn. Everything. It was a good time.
Did you get the hose out? Did you get to use the hose? Did you get to use the hose?
I didn't. No, you got to draw the line somewhere with that kind of stuff. You can't give a ball player a hose.
Yeah, but what if you got those? Remember those firefighter races? Those ladders?
Yep.
Where they're sprinting through those ladders. They climbed it up, then they pulled it, did it again. We need to see you do that. I mean, you really want to commit to this. We need you on the speed ladders with the firefighters. And we appreciate the hell out of what you're doing for the city and how you're giving back through success. 170 strikeouts, about half a season with a pitch count where he had a perfect game, I think, going. Or was it no-hitter or perfect?
Few.
No-hitter.
Okay, you do remember. If it was a perfect game, you'd be like, it's not.
Nah, I'm going.
Yeah.
Ball stays in my hand, bub. This is the MLB. We can't wait to play with you in the show as you're a cover guy now. And thank you for everything, Paul. We'll see you soon.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Hey, tell the lady we said hello. Tell the family we said hello. Tell Pittsburgh we said hi. And let's go 161 straight here.
There we go.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Love it. Love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Skenes.
Hey, Paul.